Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Here I am, speech 10. Who would have thought? Not me. But my last speech in my CC. Inspire your audience. And I'm absolutely stumped. I don't know what I'm going to say. I asked Kylie and she suggested just choose a well-known person, do some research, talk about them. I thought, great idea. Now, being a teacher, I've decided I wanted to pick somebody who would be inspiring to younger people. So I set about Googling. I began researching most influential people of all time, and I got a list. Top of the list, Jesus Christ. Well, I guess that makes sense because, to be honest, he's the only person on this list that can still pull a crowd. And I think he had some pretty good values, some good ideas. By all accounts, he was a great speaker. No Toastmasters, even without Toastmasters. And, by all accounts, a pretty nice guy. But I didn't really want to speak about Jesus Christ, so I thought I'd move down the list. Albert Einstein, he was born in 1879, great scientist, but if you asked young people today, they'd probably only know, that's the guy with the crazy hair. Isaac Newton, mathematician, scientist, you know, we'd all be floating in air. It wasn't for him, but 1642, a long time ago. I'm just not sure. Leonardo da Vinci, well, the Sistine Chapel is inspiring, but did I want to talk about him? There's Aristotle, 383 BC. That's an awful long time ago. Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and the list goes on. Scientists, mathematicians, artists, musicians, so many. But put that down there. I'm not saying that these people and their achievements weren't important in history, weren't important to society as we know it. I'm sure they were. But most of them long gone, and probably long forgotten by young people today. I'm just not sure if they're relevant. I don't know if they're the people I want to talk about. So I moved on. I'm looking for somebody inspirational. When we're inspired by somebody, it's usually somebody that we can look up to, somebody that we can hold up as an example, a role model. Somebody, we might be just amazed by something they've achieved, we might admire them for something they've done. We might aspire to be like them. We look to people who maybe have helped society, maybe in some way followed their passion and achieved their goals or their dreams. So I had to look deeper. I searched influential people of 2018. I thought I'd bring it right up to date, you know, and get the latest for the young people of today. And I got a list. Top of the list, Tiffany Haddish. Anybody know Tiffany?
Oh, yes. I met her yesterday.
I know, right? Well, Tiffany Haddish is apparently an actress and a comedian. She's got quite good at what she does, but I've never heard of her. Kamal Nanjiani, a comedian, an actor, a writer, but I hadn't heard of him. Cardi B, now I've heard that name, a rapper and a TV personality. I'm not sure what that means. And again, the list goes on. Rappers, DJs, movie producers, sports people. But I'm just not sure. I'm sure all of these people are good at what they do, but I'm just not sure if they're good role models, good inspirational people for the young people of today. I'm sure many of their songs and movies might have positive messages, but often these people, there are dark messages too, or a dark side to things. And I just think maybe it's a fairly narrow audience they're appealing to. I mean, if I want to grow up to be a rapper, I might be inspired by them. If I want to grow up to be an actress or a TV personality, maybe I'd look to them for inspiration. But a lot of these people, even though they're creatively or athletically gifted, some of their other choices, especially when highlighted in the media, are not what we want people to aspire to. So I kept looking. And I found a girl called Emma Gonzalez. I don't know if you know her. She goes to a high school, or went to a high school called Stoneman Douglas High School in America. And in February last year, there was another terrible high school massacre, and it was at her high school. She survived, but 17 students were killed. And she decided to take some action, and with a group of her friends, her peers, she arranged a protest rally against these lax gun laws in the United States. She gave what became quite a well-known speech, was beamed around the world, and she called BS on the gun laws of the United States. She put the government on notice that young people were not going to take this lying down. They wanted change. And I think she's the sort of person that young people probably could aspire to. I found a young woman called Tara Winkler, a young Australian woman, who started in Cambodia in 2007. She rescued 14 children from an abusive and a corrupt orphanage. And she started an organisation called the Cambodian Children's Trust. In the course of her work, she actually found that a lot of these orphans were not actually orphans. They had families. They had very poor families, and they were conned or coerced by the people who ran these organisations to give their children up in the promise of a better life, but really they were just getting what money they could from having these children in their orphanages. So she changed her whole organisation around so that the focus was on reuniting these families and supporting these poor families so that they didn't feel compelled to break up their families and in order to try and help their children, and to be cheated really by these corrupt people. I think she's a person, and she also now around the world focuses on making sure, or trying to promote the idea that we don't unnecessarily have children removed from their families or contained in institutions, the institutionalisation of children. She has a preventative approach. An inspirational person, Malala, the young Pakistani woman, girl. She was 15 years old when she was shot in the head by the Taliban because she stood up in favour of girls' education in Pakistan. After months of recovery in England, she could have gone home and thought, now I'm safe, I can get my education, but instead she started the Malala Fund. She's promoting girls' education. She wants to make sure that every girl can have the education and the desired life that they choose. She's inspiring. She's the sort of person I think we should aspire to be like, or young people should aspire to be like. In 2014, she was the youngest ever recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. And the list goes on. We shouldn't despair. What a relief. There's so many young people out there for other young people to aspire to. And when we think about it, all of these people were just doing what we're all doing, going about their business, and they just came into focus. But in small ways, we can all be inspiring. And that's an important thing for us to remember. We don't know when someone's watching us, when something might happen that will make people look at us. And we should all remember that. We can all be inspiring. There are people in this room that inspire me. There are people who step outside their comfort zone and do the difficult things because they know there's going to be some personal growth at the end. There's people who suffer from depression and anxiety out there, who get up and show up every day even though it's hard. There's people who suffer from PTSD because they've had traumatic experience, either personal or in their workplace. And they keep going. They're so brave. There's people who help others and they ask nothing in return. There are people who are good friends, even on your bad days. And there are people who are kind. There's inspiration everywhere we look. If we look around, we'll see it. And some days, we might be it. Mr. Toastmaster?